Crashing through thorny brambles, carefully stepping over logs strewn across the path in front of her, she came upon a clearing and in the near distance saw some semblance of a road. Her heart quickened at the sound of the approaching horse. Her ankle began to ache, but she pressed on toward the road, the thought of seeing Henley or Wesley or any of them being far more important. Her head spun, dizzy with anticipation or from the sound of pounding hooves on the hard forest floor that seemed to echo through her entire being. It's so loud, she thought, yet she could see nothing, no dust flying or branches breaking up ahead. Suddenly, a black stallion rounded the corner of the narrow tree-lined path, nearly knocking her off her feet. She fell against the trunk of a giant hawthorn that seemed to open up its arms to catch her, and gasped for air. The horse, nostril flared, dug at the ground with his front hoof, nodding his head furiously as if a wild beast. He was not pleased at suddenly being reined in by his rider, who now turned and glared at Proberta in either anger or distress while trying to calm his high-strung horse. She remained frozen against the tree, not quite sure what to say or do. "What were you thinking, running into the path of a galloping horse, madame?" the horseman suddenly asked. "You could have been killed, or worse, maimed, and it wouldn't have been my fault." He paused. "Although I can say that it would have been a terrible shame, I would have felt horribly about it." A sly grin broke out across his face as he eyed her up. They stood in silence for a few seconds, both with feelings that stirred unexpected emotions. Was it adrenaline from their near miss, or was it something more, something deeper? "Excuse me, I'm being awfully rude." The man dismounted, grabbed the worn leather reins and walked with his horse, who was now settling down, to where Proberta stood. "Phillip Mossgrove, at your service," he said, extending his hand. But rather than shake it, which is what Proberta expected, he gently took her dirty, calloused hand in his and kissed it in a most gentleman-like fashion. She blushed and suddenly became aware of her worn and soiled clothing, her dry hands dirty from digging in the garden. He didn't seem to notice, or if he did, he certainly did not show it. A true gentleman, she thought. Where had he come from, and what was he doing way out here in this isolated place?